Hello, everyone. It's me again. And today I'm here to discuss LR from the LR. And what I mean by that, the first LR stands for love relationships, which is something I said I was going to do a series of videos on it. And let me just add, I'm going to talk about sustaining love relationships because there is a difference. And as I go through like the number of videos, well, then I'm also going to talk about like how you can identify the particular components of a sustainable love relationship. Now, I was watching, and I believe it was Good Morning America, and they were talking about love relationships, and they spoke of there being four components of a love relationship. And the components that they mentioned, of course, love was one. The other was trust, and then there was passion, and I believe commitment. I believe that's what the other two were. And they asked the question, which of these components do people feel is the most important component for a love relationship? Now, I would like to add a few other components to that because I think that these are just as important if you talk about sustaining a love relationship. And what I mean by, you get into a relationship that you want to go on for years, and, how people used to have golden anniversaries and things of that nature, and, looking for that long time love, soulmate, whatever you want to call it, but in order to identify that person. But the other components I want to mention is honesty, loyalty, respect, and friendship. Now, um, I know some people may ask, well, how can I talk about sustaining a love relationship when I'm not even in a relationship right now? And I've had other relationship that evidently has failed because I'm not in one. Well, uh, two, maybe three things. One thing is that I'm completely aware of what my shortcomings and the things that I did wrong. Also aware of the things that I can recognize. And believe me, success and failure can be two of the best teachers because I learned from my failures, and I do know what aspects of it was very successful. So, been around a while, seen a lot of relationships, not just mine. I've seen the characteristics of men. I've seen the characteristics of women, and at this point where I am now, being single, well, I have nothing to gain or lose. Just being honest, and that's what I'm going to be. Just upfront, honest, and which some I think I would be anyway, even if I was in a relationship. But basically, you can understand that what I tell you, now granted, it's not gold, it's not 100% sure, but the percentage of success from what I'm going to tell you guys is much greater than the failures, and it puts you in a better position or a better base, to work from. So anyway, as I guess people were thinking about, okay, back to the components of the love relationship. What is most important? What's the most important component? Before we tackle that, you guys just think on it for a moment. I like to bring up a particular analogy. And I want to talk about, let's say, just a simple gas engine, combustible engine. And there are certain necessities that an engine needs in order to run. It needs gas, we know that. It needs electricity, it needs oil, it needs coolant, and it needs air. Now, of course, you know the gas, that part is easy because if there's no gas in the engine, then the engine won't run. The electricity is essential because it actually ignites the engine by igniting the alternator, which sends the electrical impulse to all the other key components, for the engine to run, the spark plugs, the distributor, and things of that nature. Okay, and the oil for lubrication so that the parts don't wear out and build up friction and you end up burning your engine out and it'd be useless. Coolant, definitely because an engine can't overheat if it doesn't have coolant. So the coolant has to be there so it can maintain the temperature it needs to maintain in order to continue to function. And the air helps with the compression, but the air keeps the engine the flow. It allows the engine to breathe because if it didn't have the air system, the engines would clog up, it would choke out. So these things are essential towards the running of an engine. And of course, like I say, no electricity, the engine never starts. No oil, the engine burns out. No coolant, the engine overheats. And no air, the engine chokes out. And of course, no gas, the engine doesn't run. So all these things are important. The important components to the running of an engine. Now, I know you guys see where I'm leading to. When we go into the components, or let's say the essentialities of love relationship, a sustainable love relationship, then of course all of them are just as important as the other. Because of course you have to have love and trust and passion and commitment. But along with that, when I mentioned the honesty, the loyalty, the respect, and the friendship. Now, somebody asks, well, if you trust it, I mean, that's saying that that you're being honest in a relationship. No, people trust dishonest people all the time. That's nothing new. So yes, person can trust a person who's dishonest, and a dishonest person is going to trust that the person that trusts them continue to trust them, as long as they don't know about their dishonesty. And as far as the loyalty, can you be committed to someone or trust someone? If you didn't have the loyalty, yes, just like the honesty and loyalty, the trust, you can feel like a person's loyal, but they're not. And as far as commitment, yeah, you have people who believe in commitment. Okay, let's take couples who swing. They're committed to one another, and they'll tell you. But they also have the understanding that I like to sleep with other women. I like to sleep with other guys. And they are both in that same gamut, that same circle, and they're open and they're honest and they're committed to one another in their way of commitment. And they tell you it's no less than somebody that's in a regular one-on-one marriage. However, have there been times where just a one-on-one your regular marriage and there be loyalty, whether there be trust and things that that person feels in that partner, and that partner may say, hey, I have a wife and I'm committed to my marriage, so anytime I spend with you will have to be times that doesn't conflict or interferes with that. Now, granted, still that person is thinking they're committed and they're saying they're committed, you know. but it's not the type of commitment that needs to be. So that's when you talk about, there being honesty there and there being loyalty. And if you respect the person that you with and that they are your best friend, then you will have that. But all these things are essential for a sustaining love relationship. And I want to point those things out because I'm not going to assume that everyone knows that, and knows all the essentialities of a sustainable love relationship. So that way we discussed that, we got that, out of the way, and we have identified that all are important. Now, the most vulnerable component or essential of that is the love and the passion. And that being because they're the most fluid, because they're based on emotions. And emotions can change and disarray or whatever you want to call it uh, very quickly. It can be very bipolar. And what I mean by that, there are different stages of love. We all know that, and it's been identified before how we have love, levels of love. And a person could, love their pet, of course, love their children. They can love their lovers of plants. There's a lot of things that we could love in life, but the love for a person that we are in a love relationship with is the only one that I know that can be, as I say, bipolar. And that means it goes from love to hate. Because when you with, with this person, first got with this person, you all get married, things, and you will vow to love, trust, and all these things, and committed and heartfelt into it, and was very passionate about it. Okay, well, things didn't turn out so well. You all broke up. Wasn't a good breakup, and then all of a sudden, you can't stand this person. You can't even stand to be in the same room with. Don't even want to breathe the same air they breathe. And your passion now is a passion of hate and disdain, and that's the only love I know that can go from one pole to the other. Because usually, if you love plants, you love your pet, you love that never changes. You love your children, that never changes. But your love for someone that you have a love relationship with, that can change, and it could change drastically to the opposite side. So it's good, now that we know these things that are essential for a sustainable love relationship. And later videos, I'm gonna tell you how to recognize these things, how you can actually be able to bring those things out, see if this person has those particular type of characteristics, is capable of those type of characteristics. And that pretty much is gonna be it for today. And I know I talked about the love part of the love relationship, but let me say this, as they are all essential, uh, love is like the gas. You got to start with something, and believe me, love is a wonderful thing. Love is actually the cornerstone of all that is good. So it is essential. Yes, it is fluid, but if you consistently stay with the other essentialities of a substantial love relationship, then that love component of it will always be there. It'll always be protected. And you have that going down into the ages of growing old together, or whatever your thought is of, long lasting love, you will have that. So, again, like I say, that's it for today. Look forward, for the future videos that we're gonna go deeper into this whole analogy of a sustainable love relationship. And I keep saying sustainable because there's a lot of relationships that start out good, as I pointed out, but they don't last. And so trying to get to a point to where we used to have relationships, as we look at parents and grandparents, relationship that lasts. But as things change, as the world goes more to automation, the further away we get from that person to person contact, and so it becomes a little harder. But also we'll open up to a lot more things too. So what I'm about to talk about in these videos is very, very essential because it helps us to get back to at least the basis of the feeling and how to sustain that with someone that you're in a relationship with. So anyway, that's it for today. Feel free to share this video. Again, I always visit the website, and remember the essentialities of a sustainable love relationship is love, trust, passion, commitment, honesty, loyalty, respect, and friendship. Okay, so till next time, enjoy talking to you. Greenwood.